Hello, good evening, everybody. I am so excited to make this video because this is my very first response to my very first question from a new subscriber. So, I don't know if this subscriber wants me to use his real name, so I'm going to use his initials. And then, just let me know if if you don't mind or not, or I can just say subscriber next time. But I just want to make sure people are comfortable sending questions into me. And let me know, anybody, if you send questions into me that you want me to address on the video, I'll be happy to answer your questions, and let me know whether or not you want me to use your name or your YouTube name, or you whether I not use your name at all. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to call the subscriber by his initials, CW. Okay, I'm going to read his question, and then I'm going to make this video based on that question. So first I want to say thank you, CW, and I sent you a response back. Your question was so thoughtful and just so respectful. It gives me hope that there are really good people on YouTube. I have a great, even though my subscriber base is small right now, I have a small core group of people that are just decent people. I just love seeing your comments and your suggestions. So here we go. My phone. Okay, so this is CW. He says, "Hello, my name is C. I applaud your past accomplishments and numerous skills. There were many topics that piqued my interest when looking at some of your posts. The initial interest was homesteading and the fact that you were Black and a woman. I would like to clarify that I am of mixed heritage, 3/4 Black and 1/4 Chinese. So you might understand after viewing my name. I agree with reverse pioneering, not exclusively, for many reasons, such as economic, social, and spiritually. I think a natural environment can impact the future children in both the rural and urban community, but understand that economic independence is mandatory. I don't want to sound dull. I was interested in your food industry, real estate, and internet businesses. Your history with building houses, different cultural experiences, etc. You can make so many different types of posts. I hope you acquire the property and make posts of that particular journey because you inspire me and hopefully others. I am learning about permaculture through YouTube and would like to know if you would be practicing that on your property. Yes, I am. Hope to hear from you. First, I want to say thank you again. And you're not dull. You don't sound dull at all. There's no such thing as a dull question or a dumb question or any of those things. So I'm trying to figure out what I could deal with first. I have so many interests, so many things that I've done to earn money. So as I explained in one of my previous videos, I I decided to practice this reverse pioneering because everyone is trying to crowd themselves into the city. And it seems as if there's just not enough space to move and do the things that you want to do. And by everyone valuing the city over every other space, what they're doing is placing this unreasonable demand and unreasonable value on these inner city properties. But what that begins to do is it begins to affect your priorities and what you want to do for your own life. Like I realized last year that I was starting to live closer and closer to my job, a job that I really am not crazy about. It makes excellent money. I get to telework at home. My supervisor's pretty chill, so I don't have any complaints. I get to travel internationally for my position too. But I was living closer and living in a space that I didn't like because I wanted to be near my job because of traffic. And I thought, what an unusual reason to live. Like I live most of my waking hours are at the job Monday through Friday, right? Or at home for the job. But then my time after work is spent in a home that I really don't want to be in. with no yard and living next to people I don't particularly want to live next to. And I just thought about like the lack of quality of life. There's got to be more to that. Let me make this aside, and I'm going to do another video on this topic. The president of the American Heart Association had a heart attack. All right, how many of you know that he had a heart attack? He ate well, didn't smoke, didn't drink, exercised, had a beautiful life, and he had a heart attack. So now we are starting to understand that it's not just dietary lifestyles and exercise that determine whether or not your heart is healthy. There is another component that so many people have been trying to avoid. It's that spiritual component of where you live. That's why we have this idea of feng shui, of making sure that your living space has is arranged in such a way where the colors match and blend, and it brings peace to you and brings harmony to your spirit. That when you have your furniture arranged, if there's space for that furniture, that if you had an imaginary wind move through your home, that it can move unencumbered by the objects and the area. Right? Nothing should block the doorway. There shouldn't be too many pieces of large furniture. There shouldn't be too many pieces of small furniture. Things should match. They should be symmetrical. Why do we take time with that? Why, when you walk into a home where the walls are dingy in color and poorly lit, and the floor has ratty carpet, why does that make you feel badly? Why does that pull on your spirit? Why is it when we walk into a model home, right? Maybe you're looking for a home, or you're just doing a home tour. Why do smiles come to our lips? We walk into a home where there's hardwood floors and lots of space and lots of windows and lights from the ceiling, and windows in the ceiling coming through from the top of the wall. That makes us smile. We feel open. We feel free. There's something to our environment affecting how we feel, whether or not we are depressed, how angry we get, the stress that we internalize, how we sleep, how we engage with each other. I'm sorry, you all know I have allergies. So I was feeling that. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just knew that whenever I went out for a walk with my dog, I was angry. Angry. In my last neighborhood where I purchased a duplex and fixed it up, as I mentioned, we can go back there and look at it. I was in a gentrifying neighborhood. So that word gentrifying, that's a hot topic. It's a lightning rod for all kinds of contentious conversations. But the bottom line is that gentrification occurs in neighborhoods that are decaying, that are predominantly black, that are predominantly poor. And in those neighborhoods, there's trash on the ground and spit. People just spit on the ground like it's nothing. And their yards are full of trash, overgrown grass, and things aren't fixed. So I would walk my dog in my early days in this neighborhood. I walked my dog there, and I just had this very dark and heavy feeling in my spirit. I'm picking around the dirt. I'm picking around garbage. I'm picking around, oh, I don't want to step in that. Oh, I don't want my dog to step in that. And I would avoid certain streets because certain streets had houses that were occupied by nothing but men who weren't working. And I had to walk around there, but I didn't know what was going on over there. It was just all of this stuff. And I would be so exhausted by the time I made it back home. And sad and upset and irritated. It got to the point near the end of my time there in my home that I was longing for gentrification to occur. And that's a horrible thing to say to some people, but I was hoping that more people would move in who had money to fix those houses up and clean up the streets, because it seemed as if I were fighting a losing battle, that it was just me picking up the trash in front of my house and a couple of the other houses, and me making sure that I hosed off the sidewalks to get rid of the spit, and painting my house and all these other things. Like nobody else seemed to care to do anything. And it just became depressing. And at the very end, I would take my dog and load him into the truck. We would go up to Piedmont Park or Grant Park, and it would take extra time, not being able to walk outside my door for a nice walk. It would take extra time to go to the park, but at least the park was pleasant. At least I didn't have to walk through trash and spit and things, and it had green grass and things were clean and happy and cheerful. And it made me feel good. And even my dog seemed to feel better. We were happier that way. So all of these things affected my decision to practice this urban pioneering. And I firmly believe that more people should do this. It may sound defeatist, but I think you should give up the city to those who want it, who can afford it. Because the bottom line is, it's getting to that point where not many people are going to be able to afford to live there. I can technically still afford to live in the city. I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing to take advantage of that space out in the country that has been devalued. That we all know, because there's so much land out there, will gain its value back very quickly, where there won't be as many people, where the air is cleaner, the streets are cleaner, people care about their neighborhoods and their grass and their trash, all of those things. I'm choosing to do that because my spirit needs that to stay healthy, and that in turn will affect the health of my body. So I think that affects the health of our children. I think that affects the health of relationships. There's just so many things that are unleashed. So many scenarios change for the good positively when you think about changing the location of the space where you keep your abode. And I'm not knocking the city. I like it. I do. I love the convenience. I love the multitude of restaurants and the shows and the concerts that I am literally 10 minutes away from. But this phone stays ringing. Who's trying to call me? So anyway, um, I just think that there's a time and there's a season. And for me, this is the season to go back to the country. Not to say that I won't come back to the city, but right now it's definitely time for me to go to the country and do something there. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I have lots of good plans. So something I've always wanted to do is have a compound in my home where I could step into my swimming pool, step out, go to my hot tub, go to my sauna, go to my own steam room. I'm going to be able to do that. The property that I'm purchasing has a pool, a beautiful pool, which I'm going to show you in some future videos. I'm going to place a jacuzzi there. I'm going to make my own sauna out of straw bale and wood. I hope you all really appreciate how that looks. I'm also going to make my own steam room. Those are going to be two of my first projects that I indulge in, and using natural materials, for functional use. I feel like that phone is ringing. Let me turn this phone off, y'all. All right, try to. I feel like all of these things are going to allow me to distress at a deeper level in my core and allow me to slow down a little bit and maybe have a little bit less anxiety. I find myself sometimes having to turn off my television. I mentioned in a previous video that I rarely watch television at all. Like, if I'm living in an apartment where they forced me to purchase this cable package through Comcast, which is a total waste because I watch one or two channels once in a while. Most of my viewing is through social media. I download my own movies that I want to watch. There are a couple of series that I watch on YouTube. And again, as I have time, I'm always so busy, I don't always have time to do those things. But I find that I can't watch too much news. I can't have a constant diet of news coming at me, local or otherwise. I have to be able to filter it through my phone. And I don't like to see conflict in the streets. I don't like arguing. I don't like those things. I don't know if it's because as I get older, Am I becoming more sensitive to it? Am I becoming softer? I don't know. I tend to shy away from things that create anger and violence. That's what I found. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel as if going out to the country is going to kind of shield me from that a little bit so I can focus on other things. And again, I'm just giving you a little summary about my thoughts and why I'm doing the things that I do. I'm going to, as you stick with me, you're going to see more videos, not only demonstrating things I know how to do, but just talking about the things that I used to do and that I feel, things that I think are important. But my home building experience happened accidentally. I was actually a tribal administrator at a Native American tribe years ago. And that tribe hired a contractor through a grant that I wrote about natural home building methods. I thought it would be an interesting idea for the Native Americans there in the tribe to learn how to build their own homes so that they could become a little more self-sufficient and not depend so much on tribal resources to distribute the few homes that were there in the tribe. So let me give you a little bit of background. I was a travel administrator and also the grant writer, the grant manager, and the grant editor, and I managed several directors that reported to me. A major HUD grant came up for infrastructure. Now, infrastructure deals with putting in sidewalks and street lights and driveways, just like the basic foundations that you put in before the actual building project. So this was the first part. This was the first grant that we applied for the infrastructure, which we received. But there were only 15 structures. We had at least over 75 tribal members, additional tribal members who needed homes. So in the meanwhile, we had all this tribal land, and we had tribal members living 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people to a trailer on land. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people living in one house. And there was a tribal neighborhood, and from houses that had been built years earlier, everyone was in there, and there just wasn't enough space. And I thought, we shouldn't be so dependent on these HUD grants to house tribal members. And I reminded the tribal council at a meeting. I said, you all used to know how to build your own houses. There was a time, there was a time that you knew how to pick up clay and adobe and soil and rock, and you knew how to make materials that allowed you to build your own homes, and you had beautiful homes. And I showed them pictures of the homes that they used to live in. And you know what was interesting is that the elders who sat on that council nodded their heads and they said, we did. We knew a long time ago. Now those elders had never built those homes from adobe or even from straw bale, but they remember their elders building those types of homes. And they had pictures. And so I wrote a grant through the Administration of Native Americans. We wrote a grant for home building and got the grant. And then I went out to bid, and we found a contractor who came on the land and talked about how to build these houses. And that was my first introduction right there. Right there. I picked up on it very quickly. And then, my math and science skills kicked in, and I started really paying attention to how he built the foundation, how he built the walls, everything. It was just so fascinating. When I left that job, I went to Mexico for a few years, and I took those skills with me, all right, and taught people how to build adobe houses in Mexico. So I will save more of that information for a future video because I want to pull out my old pictures, and I need to get somebody to help me post this right because I just don't do well with technology, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better with posting pictures, but I don't want that to stop me from posting videos. But I have pictures. I think I have a couple of old videos, and I'm looking for the original contractor who worked with us at the tribe. I'm going to see if I can get him in a Hangouts interview because he actually goes around California now teaching people how to build homes out of Adobe. So I'm working on that now. That's going to be good. See, also wanted to hear more about my internet businesses. So my internet businesses are fun. Actually, we're very frustrating in the beginning, but to give you a brief summary, what I do is I look at products that need work. Okay, let's say for instance a NutriBullet. I love a NutriBullet. So what I would do is take a NutriBullet, look at the reviews for the bullet, and whatever complaints people have about the bullet, I would go to the manufacturer and I would build something similar, but take out the defects. Maybe it needs a wider base, or maybe it leaks. Whatever the issue is, I would do that, and then you sell it, preferably on eBay or Amazon, with the advertisement, with the selling point being that this particular product doesn't do this. It's like that for a variety of products. Sometimes I take old products people are already purchasing, and if I find them cheaper, I'll sell them. But for the most part, I take things that are already in existence and I just make them better. That's it. That's it. But it's been a really good way to make money. This right here in my hair is a hair barrette. All right, take it out so you can see it. This hair barrette is something that I got from India. I don't know if you can see it. It's a peacock, which is the country's flower. All right. Now, this is a beautiful hairpiece, but there's one problem with this hairpiece. This metal. This is not good for hair like mine. It breaks it. And sometimes, I'm trying to see if I can see it. I don't see it right now, but sometimes when I pull this out of my hair, it takes hair with it. So what I'm actually working on right now with this product, and I'll show you when I'm done, is I am working with a manufacturer that I found on Alibaba, and I'm asking him, excuse me, to change the back of this product so that these metal spikes are wood, smooth wood. I want this to be wood. This can stay metal, but I want to be able to put this in my hair without it snagging and catching on the hair. Metal is really not good for my kind of hair. Actually, it's not good for anybody's hair, to be honest with you. But for black hair, African American hair, our African hair, there's a fragility to it. But wood products do better in our hair. And I like hair barrettes. I like jewelry. I like earrings, anything like that. Sometimes you'll see with videos with little hair pieces in my hair. You know, I know I'm 48. What am I doing? But I just love it. I love adornment, and especially things for the hair. So I constantly take things like this. I'll see something that I like, and I'll make it better. I'll make it fit my type of hair. I'm working on something right now for swimming caps. So I'm a swimmer, and I swim every day, and so my shoulders and arms are huge because I swim every day. Yeah, I'm a pretty good swimmer. I have to say, I have good endurance now in the pool, and I'm a strong swimmer. And what I found is that, and this is totally vain, right? This is totally vain. Don't hate me. But what I have found is that most of the time, when I put my swim cap on and I take my swim cap off, my head is full of water. Water's pouring out the cap, no matter what I do. And it's because I have so much hair to go under it. And I'm not the only one. There are women of other races who have lots of long, thick hair. And what a lot of women do who are serious swimmers, they just cut their hair off. I know many black women who are like, you know what, I just don't want to deal with it. I want to swim. My health is important to me. And they cut off all their hair and wear a short little afro. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm vain. I like my locks. I like my hair. And I want to keep it. But I also know that swimming has been very good for me. And I swim religiously every day. So I was been playing around in the pool trying to find different ways. Playing around in the mirror with my swimming caps, trying to find different ways to keep water from going under the cap. So I don't, because when water goes under the cap, you know you can't keep that pool water in your hair. You have to wash your hair. So that means when I get my hair done, I'm gonna have a nice style. Then I go in the pool and it's done. I just have all this crazy hair now because my little curls and my waves and things are gone because I had to wash it out. Well, I'm tired of doing that because washing your hair every day is not healthy for this kind of hair. So I am actively trying to devise a swimming cap that does not allow one iota of water to seep in. Now, to do that, I've looked very funny in the women's bathroom. Okay, I go to the pool at LA Fitness. I also go to the city pool where we have swim practice. And many times, I can't tell you what I'm doing because I don't want to give my idea away. But I do some pretty weird things with saran wrap and waterproof tape. So I'm going to say, to try to keep this hair dry, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But you're going to see one day, you're going to see it and you're going to know it came from me. That I'm going to create a swimming cap where anybody with any length and volume of hair can put this cap on and water will not get under their cap. I am working on it. Okay. So those are the types of things that I do. I make things based on necessity, sometimes based on vanity. I make jewelry. So my job that I'm in sends me overseas about 3 or 4 times a year. And I get a chance to shop at all these wonderful places at the local markets for jewelry and bracelets, rings, and all of these things. And so I'll take something like this and I'll call up Alibaba. No, first I'll find out if the local manufacturer, if the person I'm purchasing from can make this in bulk for me, and we'll do what we can. But then I'll take that design, like this is a design that was made by a local craftsman in India, in Mumbai, India, and it's some type of metal. This is some kind of stone right here. And then there's this elaborate design, which I actually watched them paint on another piece of jewelry they were creating. This right here is real wood. So what I'll do is I'll purchase as many as I can and I'll sell them. Or I'll go to Alibaba and I'll take pictures and I'll explain to them the kind of material that it is and say, I want to make something like this, but with this design, and I'll sell those. All right. Excuse me. So just different things you can think of. You'd be surprised at the number of things that you can do to make money. Okay, so that's my online businesses. And something else you mentioned. What did you say? I can remember all this stuff. Oh, you said my food businesses. Oh yeah, I have many more things to talk about that. But I'll save it for another video. This is getting really, really long. But I do have a variety of interests. And I was debating whether or not what I had to share would be of any value. Because I look around YouTube and I see a lot of things that to me have no value. Lots of negativity, lots of I hate that person, we hate these people, a lot of nonsense, a lot of meanness. And I thought, well, it looks like people don't may not want to hear this because I'm not talking about people and I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just talking about my experience, who am I? But it looks like it may have some value, you know? And I appreciate that. And I hope as the channel grows, especially after I purchase the property and start working on things, that you will continue to get some value from what I'm doing. Because a lot of things I know how to do naturally, other things I had to go to school and learn. I had some things I just experiment with, but I have a vision in mind of what I want to do with this property. And as I said in the earlier videos, everything about that property will be monetized. I cannot afford to just purchase a home like this and just live in it. It has to make money for me. Excuse me. Water. It has to make money for me. And then I hope you learn something from that and continue asking me questions. So I'm going to hurry up and end this now and go on to the next videos. Thank you so much, CW. Please send me more questions, and I have noted what you want to hear about, and those videos are coming. You will get all of that and more. And again, this was just a summary based on your email, but I have a wide variety of interests. I have, and also I have some things that I want to talk about that have nothing to do with the practical, functional aspects of homesteading or businesses. Sometimes it's a theoretical and the spiritual and the philosophical aspects. I've learned in my life that there's something to those relationships that we have with each other to help make our lives more successful. So I talk about those things too. All right. See you later.